Hello and welcome back. We're going to look at sketching this milk bottle. Now, I think this is the kind of thing that you'll probably be using for your redesign project. You could be thinking about how we could use it as a scoop, how we could use it as there's lots of ways that this could be used. It's really easy to cut up as well. Now, I've done it on a black folder because it's very, very difficult to see on the white paper. So again, as always, I'm going to start with my thinking and I'm going to plan this out. I'm going to look at the sizes of it. Now, if I look at the width of that, and I take that as 1. So kind of that's about, if I imagined the first bit of it. So that's 1. And then if I take up the second one, it's up to about there. And the third one, if I look at that, let's take that size again, it's about half. So it's 1, 2, and then a half. So that's my kind of sizes for my proportions. If I look at it this time though, I can also see that it's not symmetrical. I have this handle. Again, depending on how I want to draw it, I could draw it that way, which would be a little bit easier because it would be symmetrical. I could draw it that way, which would be symmetrical, but I want to draw it that way. I want to take on a little bit of a challenge and draw the handle and make it a little bit more interesting. Now, if I look at the width of that, if I imagine this being symmetrical, I'm going to draw a center line down the middle of that, like that. I can see that isn't on that center line. It's to the right hand side of it there. Now if I divide that up, let's have a little look. So it's about a quarter of the way in. If I look at that, that's about a quarter of the way into this bit. And so I can start to plan this out using my sizes like that. Right, so I'm going to start this as I started the other ones as well. I'm going to start with a center line like that, and I'm going to make this one quite small because I'm running out of page over here, and I'm going to draw in the base of my bottle. So if I take that as being the first size, that kind of sets the overall sizes for my project. So I've got 1, so that's this point. I've got 2, which is this point, and then I've got half. I've already got half there, so I'll just take that, and that's the top. Now I'm going to have to extend my center line out. So that's my kind of sizes plotted out for this bottle. I need to draw in my maximum size crate, and I know that my object is going to fit within that crate. Now straight away, when I look at this, I can see that between here and here, let's have a little look. So if that's halfway, this kind of curve starts about halfway, just under halfway. So just a little bit less. So about there is where that curve kind of starts in like that. Yeah. Now I've already said that it comes in about a quarter of the way. So if I divide that up, half, quarter, and a quarter, I've then got the positions for my handles. So I can see that this is about a quarter of the way up. So I'm going to draw that in like that and that. So that's the position of my hole for my handle, like that. Now, if I look at what's going on at the top here, now this almost comes up to, sorry, you can't see that there. This almost comes up to the top of this handle. So I need to extend that up past, almost up to this neck. And I have this little bit here. So if I look at that, again, I'm going to take that, maybe that size there, the quarter size, and it's about a quarter. So I've got that size already there. So if I take that size, I can use my pen, and I can eyeball it. So about there. So my top of my bottle is about there. And if I look again, I can see that's a similar, maybe slightly bigger size. So I'll make it slightly bigger. So I have the position of my handle. Now, while this bit here comes all the way down, the handle hole doesn't. So if I look, and I'll divide this up again. So if I take that whole thing there, being 1, so this is more or less halfway. So the handle actually starts in about there. So that's the start of my handle. So I'm going to treat that like another separate object. I'm going to draw in, again using my coming in a third, and I've got the position of that handle hole. Yeah. Now I can see that this swoops down into here, so I'm actually going to put that in because it's quite important, and it comes down to between halfway and that one, so about halfway, so into here somewhere. So again, it's about looking, and it sweeps down and in and around like that. Alright, so I've started to think about my bottle. It has this corner up here. If I look where it comes down to, it comes down to roughly, let's have a little look, to about there. Now you notice that's about halfway down the handle. So halfway down the handle is about there. So that curve goes round to that neck. So let's figure out the size of this neck. Let's look at half. Is it half? Not quite. So it's a bit under half. So I'm going to take half. I'm going to put half on each side and then come in a little bit. Let's have a little look where that lines up. So that lines up almost with the inside of there. So if I take that up, yeah, that's about the right position for it. So let's look what's happening here. It steps and then comes down on this curve as well. So there's a small step in there, then it comes in and it curves and follows this round. So actually, if I look there, it doesn't change size until it gets to here and steps out. So I can say that that kind of almost offsets all the way around to there. Now I can imagine this is quite tricky. Right, so I've got that drawn in. Now this curve, I know now is going to go from here to here. Yeah, so it's not quite as simple as my normal curve. So I'm just going to practice it and then sketch it in. And if I look there, I can see that steps and curves a little bit there too. Right, if I look down my body in my bottle, I can see at halfway I've got this kind of line where it changes a little bit and steps in ever so slightly across there, like that. If I look at the bottom, which you can't see, there we go, it actually steps out a little bit back here. So if I look at that, let's take the size, it's about half of one of the halves. So if I take that and say half of one of those halves, it's about there. So it's stepping back out about there. So that steps in. Maybe not quite as much as that. And then it steps back out. A prominent feature of this is this curve at the bottom, this bit here. So again, if I look at it, it's not quite half. So I'll come in half and then come in, and that's sitting in there like that. Right, so I'm quite happy with that, with my proportions of that. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to put in some fillets. I'm going to put in my thread, and then I'm going to darken in the rest of my bottle. Now I would say that this, out of the three bottles, is by far the most complicated. While it looks probably the easiest, it's actually one of the more complex forms that you could try drawing from your objects from your bin. So there's my milk bottle. Yeah, it's probably a little bit narrow, maybe not long enough. I should really probably have elongated it out slightly more like that, but that's okay. So hopefully you enjoyed those little videos, and hopefully they'll help you with your drawings of your objects. Remember, the only way to get really good at this is to do it over and over again and practice. Now I might then go and redo that one again, redo that one again, try it at different sizes till I get the proportions right. I hope you found those videos useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.